Welcome back to my YouTube channel, and this time on a regular basis I'll be uploading videos on class 10 NCERT, different chapters of different subjects, and we will be starting with science first of all, and that to biology. The first chapter of biology is your chapter 5, that is life processes, and इस बार we will be getting on to solve different types of questions on the board basis. Life processes are the processes which are performed by any organism to sustain its life. Processes that are performed to sustain life. So we are performing different activities in our life to remain alive on this earth. We are interacting with different people, we are showing different locomotion and movements, we are doing different activities, but this implies the internal activities, the biochemical activities which are being performed in our internal body, so that are called as life processes to sustain our life. Now we can take examples of nutrition. You all have ideas about all these. Nutrition, then we can take as respiration, transportation, excretion, and there are even more, but in this chapter we'll be reading about all these 4 types of life processes. We'll be dealing with 2 more, that are control and coordination and reproduction, in your further chapters. Now we will be going towards nutrition at first. So what is nutrition? You all have ideas about nutrition. So nutrition can be gained from nutrients, right? There are different nutrients like fats, carbohydrates, then vitamins, proteins, etc. So all these nutrients provide us nutrition. Now what does nutrition mean? How can we define nutrition? Nutrition is the process where an organism meets its required energy. Now say nutrition is itself a life process, but it provides us energy through which we can do different life processes. So everything is interlinked with each other, and this is a significant process for us, because through this process only we can proceed all other life processes which we are performing. So now an organism needs its required energy to do what? Why do we need energy? Energy is being needed by us to perform different activities, like now I am teaching you, you are hearing, and everything, whatever we are doing 24/7 are all possible because of energy. If we don't have any energy, then we will not be performing anything. Let's move towards the types of nutrition. Nutrition are basically of 2 types, autotrophic and heterotrophic, and you all are known about these 2 things, autotrophic nutrition and heterotrophic nutrition. Now let's move towards autotrophic and heterotrophic nutrition. First of all, we will be giving these their introduction, and then we will be differentiating those with some points. So autotrophic nutrition, as the name suggests, first of all, auto implies by, own. Auto implies by, own. And as there is nutrition after autotrophic, so we can simply say that autotrophic nutrition is the mode of nutrition where different organisms are able to synthesize their own food of their own. I mean, they don't depend upon other organisms for their food and energy requirements and to perform different life processes. But heterotrophic nutrition is the mode of nutrition where an organism is dependent upon other for its energy requirements to perform different activities for life sustenance. Now let's differentiate them with some examples, with some points. So let's start differentiating them. Autotrophic. Today we'll be dealing with only introduction towards this chapter with heterotrophic nutrition. Now see, the first ever point which I had means already been given you is that is their definition. Here something will be changed. Autotrophic, green plants synthesize, or you may write produce own food. These are the key points, but if you want a long answer, so you may write here that the process, the mode of nutrition in which green plants produce their own food or produce food of their own to meet their energy requirements is called as autotrophic nutrition. Heterotrophic nutrition, organisms are dependent upon others to meet their energy requirements and to meet their need of different biochemical activities. Now if we will look towards the second point, then what do we find? Here we have said that produce food of their own, right? And here we said that dependent upon other organisms. Now here we can say that these are producers because they can produce of their own. And as heterotrophs are depending upon others, we can say that they are consumers because these organisms produce food for these organisms and these are dependent upon them to take food from them and meet their energy requirements and so their nutrition processes. Now we can say that these are consumers. Over. Now the third point we can take is these are called as consumers and these are producers, already discussed. Now how do they store their food? It's not about that the pickle is stored in the jar, then we store different food items, that raw materials in refrigerators. It's not about that, but how do they store food in their body, in the different organs of their body, that is cell. Means in the basic unit of our life is cell. We have already discussed about it in class 9. So here we can say that food is stored in the form of starch. Yes. So food is stored in the form of starch. Food is stored in the form of starch. No, starch, whereas here in the form of glycogen and here starch. Food is stored in the autotroph organisms in the form of starch and in the heterotrophs in the form of glycogen. The last thing is that in this autotrophic nutrition, inorganic things, so inorganic things are converted into organic ones. Inorganic are converted into organic and here vice versa. That is, see, inorganic into organic and in heterotrophs organic into inorganic. Those. So now we will look towards different modes, different types of heterotrophic nutrition. This will be the last topic for today. Heterotrophic nutrition ka types. Now types. There are 4 modes. There are 4 types of heterotrophic mode of nutrition. The first is holozoic, second is symbiotic, third is saprophytic, fourth is parasitic. Now holozoic mode of nutrition is that food is taken in solid form. Food is taken in solid form in this mode of nutrition, holozoic. So food is taken in solid form first of all. And examples we will take is amoeba and humans. These two are the examples of holozoic mode of nutrition which they practice. So amoeba and humans, both the nutrition will be dealing in our next videos. Then it's symbiotic. Symbiotic mode of nutrition implies the mode of nutrition in which two organisms help each other in their lacking side, and both are being benefited by each other. Like we can say both are dependent upon each other, both help each other, and both are being benefited. Like we can say that here the definition will be the mode of nutrition in which two organisms are dependent upon each other to help each other and to get benefited from each other. That will be called a symbiotic mode of nutrition. Like we can take the example of algae and fungi. Algae and fungi, these two structures, these two microorganisms, algae is able to actually I forgot you to make you deal with the examples of heterotrophs and autotrophs, sorry for that. So autotrophs, examples of autotrophs are algae and green plants, and the example of heterotrophs are rest all structures. Whatever organisms are there, rest then algae and green plants can be categorized as heterotrophs. So algae is now an autotroph and fungi are always heterotrophs. So fungi provides shelter to algae and algae provides food to fungi, and that is why both are being benefited. As fungi lacks its own food, fungi will be benefited with the food from algae, and algae will be benefited from the shelter which is being provided by fungi. And this all, the combination, the symbiotic relationship between algae and fungi is called as lichen or lichen, whatever you say. Now symbiotic relationship, it's over. Next type of heterotrophic nutrition is parasitic. But one is host and another is parasite. Host and parasite. We can define that parasitic mode of nutrition is a mode of nutrition where one of the organisms from out of the two is getting benefited from the other, and the host organism is making or suffering from a loss. So host, this will be parasite, and host will be human body. We can take the example. So in this parasitic mode of nutrition, one organism is making loss or suffering from a loss, and mosquito, that is the parasite in this example. So the other organism will be getting benefited from the host organism. We can take different examples like leech, then cascata plant, amar bale, etc. Now this will be called as parasitic. Now we will be dealing with saprophytic. Saprophytic means an organism is dependent upon dead and decay matter. Means the one which is showing the saprophytic nutrition, like mushrooms, they are dependent upon those dead and decay matter, as that is the food for them. So saprophytic implies the mode of nutrition where an organism is depending upon dead and decay matter for its survival. Example is mushrooms. And this is what the end of our topic for today's class. And in the next class we'll be discussing about the nutrition process in amoeba, the photosynthesis, the events occurring at photosynthesis, and like, comment, subscribe, notification bell. And this is what it is from today's video, and we will be meeting soon in our next video.